Welcome to Feral Friday Podcast, Unhinged and Unbothered, a podcast where we talk about smut, monsters, fanfic, and everything in between. Listener discretion is advised. See the episode description for additional details.
Pretty little thing, he murmurs to himself, and takes another step towards me. Without thinking, I reach out and slap him. His nostrils flare in anger as he turns his head back towards me slowly. Then he lets out a sharp laugh. You like it rough, sweetheart? I stare at him, eyes wide. Yes, I like it rough, but he's much bigger than me, and very fit, and doesn't seem like he cares if he hurts me. Our standards for rough may be drastically different. I find myself reassessing him. Instead of the terrifying captor, I'm thinking about what it'd be like to get fucked by him, and I'm intrigued. He's not traditionally handsome, but his confidence and general brutishness are enticing. And the way he's looking at me, like he can't wait to devour me, is both terrifying and deeply arousing. He raises his eyebrows. I asked you a question. I take a breath and try to steady my voice, but it still comes out as a whimper. Yes. He laughs again, and an almost animal look takes over his face as he lunges at me. Before I can react, he grabs my waist and spins me around, pushing me up against the wall. I let out a shriek and try to wriggle free, but he's much stronger than me. He pulls my arms behind me and pins both wrists with one hand, using the other to wring the overall straps off my shoulders and push them down, then does the same with my swimsuit. He lets my wrists go to wrestle both garments off my hands and roughly pushes them down my hips until they fall on the floor, leaving me naked and shaking in front of him. He pins my hands above my head, holding them at arm's length so he can take a step back and look at my bare backside. I gasp as he grabs a fistful of my hair and pulls my head toward him. This body's built for fucking. He runs his hand down my back to my ass and spanks me hard. I scream. I've been spanked before, but not like that. Tears well up in my eyes and he spanks me again. I try not to scream this time and fail. When he spins me around again, I try to push him away from me instinctively, but he pins my hands above me again. With his other hand, he grabs me around the neck and forces my chin up with his thumb so our faces are close together. I can feel tears stream down the side of my face. Maybe a little too rough for you? I nod meekly. Jace smiles and rubs away the tears on one side with his thumb. Then slowly he turns my face to the other side and licks the track of tears from my jawline up my cheek. I'm shaking uncontrollably at this point. His power over me is petrifying but incredibly arousing. I want him to be as rough with me as possible and see if I can take it. I want him to bite me, spank me, whatever he wants. But I can't seem to speak, so I keep letting him play with me. His hand drifts down to my breast, toying with it. He runs his thumb over my nipple, which reacts strongly to his touch. He leans down and takes the other nipple into his mouth and licks it, then bites it, making me squeal. Jace stands back up and looks at my face for a few seconds. You're so pretty when you're scared, baby. And that was Reiju, a dark, post-apocalyptic, MFM kinky erotica short story of dominance and submission by Maeve Harlow.
No, if tears, jail. Immediately to jail.
This body is built for fucking.
To jail.
So many times. Also, she was wearing a bikini under overalls. That sounds so uncomfortable.
I mean, I do that. I do that all the time.
All you wear is a bikini under overalls.
And it's a thong bikini, too.
Oh, God.
The high ones that come up here and have the strings.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
well.
pretty
I mean, I guess.
But then again, I don't have a body built for fucking, so that's probably why.
I mean,
basic biology says this body's built for fucking.
Honestly, I wasn't sure if they were saying that her body was built for fucking or his body was built for fucking. I was a little confused.
he was saying about her. It was actually like dialogue. It was him saying, "Ooh, like this body's built for fucking."
That's
like
an
such a
insane
compliment.
thing to say to another person. You take off your clothes and you're just like,
Right.
Wow. This body
Especially
is
since
built
this
for
is kind of like
fucking.
feels like a dubcon situation, so it's like, what's happening?
Oh, there's no con at this
I was
point.
gonna say,
but like, can you imagine? It's like
giving-
Stockholm
okay,
syndrome. Like,
Do you guys remember that game from PlayStation 1? It was like a race car game where you would like crash into them and they'd keep racing. It's called like Twisted
Yes.
Metal. That's what it was called.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a character in Twisted Metal that would say, I might be half human, but I'm all woman. She was like an android character. That's how I heard it in my head.
You know?
Every time
That's
I
okay.
hear overalls now,
That's nice.
I just think about
I love the
grab
part.
someone from behind and you can straight lift them up
Yeah.
and have the overalls on. I'm just picturing the character of that, just picking her up by the back of her overalls.
I'm
just
wearing
like,
overalls right now.
You're mine now.
Mine now.
Yeah.
I also couldn't figure out why he had to let go of her hands to take her overalls off. I'm like, because there's buckles.
Oh,
Like you could hold up the hands and then just like
maybe she had like the
snap,
ones with the
snap.
buttons.
those don't seem. Oh,
Maybe she got the button kind of
Mine
overalls.
don't have
Those are a
buttons.
thing. Yeah, there you go.
Maybe.
That's a dungaree.
Hmm.
That's a jumpsuit, right?
Yeah, there were just like some weird writing in that scene, and I was like, I don't quite understand what's going on. And as I was reading, I was like, am I reading
Maybe
this
the
right?
author has never owned a pair of overalls, and that would be a strange thing to write about if you had never owned a
It was
pair.
a
but
strange. Yes.
Yeah.
you
I
know,
actually don't think I've ever worn
I don't know.
overalls in my entire life.
never.
real. Hand to
What?
God, I don't think I have
Love that.
ever been
Really?
in a pair
You
of
live in the
overalls.
Midwest, Victor. What in the world?
Victor, this is
Correct.
this is some Victor lore I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
You literally live in like the
I
sea
think
of corn and soybeans, and you're like, I'm never even.
I
couldn't
think
even
Tracy
imagine
had an
myself in
aesthetic
overalls.
objection
That would
to
be
them, so I don't
crazy.
ever remember my sister being in
Interesting.
overalls either.
I had a pair of like the overall shorts that were white and they had Tweety Bird on them when I was probably in like 3rd grade. Yeah, it
Yes,
was a look
that's
for
a look.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Nice.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think I definitely also
didn't?
had
Well,
some
I
like,
had
Looney
Looney Tunes
Tunes
themed clothes.
overalls.
Ha,
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, but not overalls.
but the overall aesthetic was too much. That was
I love it.
drawing the line.
It looks like you're wearing
I had a
some
lot
right
of
now.
overalls, and I still have a lot of overalls because bitches who wear overalls fuck. Okay.
It's easy access.
So,
Just flip those
No,
buttons out. And...
Here's the deal, Victor. I think you should really sort your life out, get some overalls, so that way when you walk into a room, people will look at you and they'll go, "They fuck."
Built for fucking.
They'll just know. It exudes an essence that says,
Mhm.
"I'm working class, but I also know how to have a good time." Okay, and I think that it makes
us
all
look
of
smart.
us look really beautiful, handsome, well-rounded, sexy. It's very flattering. For
Agreed.
So it's like a
everyone.
bit business
It
in the
highlights soft
streets,
tummies.
party in the cornfield kind of thing.
It's, yeah.
Correct.
And as soon as I walk into a room,
100%.
people are like, "That bitch fucks." And I'm like, "Correct."
Oh my.
All right,
Oh.
getting overalls.
Sort it out. I can send you my favorite brands if you'd like them.
Please.
For recommendations.
I would love it.
Wild Fang makes some for that are like non-binary specific overalls. They're made for all genders, and then they have ones that are specific for like masculine presenting genders overalls and feminine presenting overalls.
Huh.
It's like a literal full spectrum, and that's who I buy mine from. Shout out Wild Fang, please give me a sponsorship. I really cannot be spending $200 on overalls all
Nice
the time.
try, wrong podcast.
Oh god.
Wild Fang, I know you're listening to the Feral Friday podcast.
We'll take the sponsorship too.
The Monster
This is
Smut
about me right now,
podcast.
Sarah.
Our first sponsor is actually the city of Cincinnati.
And with that, Marie's. Oh,
Shout
that's
out to
right.
the tourism board.
That's right.
Visit Cincy, please.
In
If you hear us.
I
negotiations.
don't think I will,
Please
but I'm really
sponsor us.
excited
Yeah.
that you guys love it.
It's actually gocincy.com.
Oh. I didn't even know that.
I actually,
Interesting,
I
interesting.
hate
Okay.
to know that, but I have it now in my brain. Thank you.
We're gonna just hop back on the tracks here and
Mom's
get
putting us
somewhere.
in line.
Marie,
Let's go.
will you please tell us what you're reading right now?
So I just finished
Or recently.
reading Far From Neverland by Rylee Hale because we were looking for some retelling of fairy tales in the Discord. So that is a retelling where it's a Peter Hook. So we have an interesting dynamic going there. It's 14 years after they've left Neverland. Peter grew up, and he doesn't remember who he is. So,
Oh, so it's like Hook.
yes. Fuck.
Well, except for he's not an old man, but the same general.
I mean, Hook is like immortal,
Oh, so it's like age
I guess.
Okay.
Major.
major. Perfect. So it's just like
It was it was an interesting.
Perfect.
It's an interesting book. It was good. I think it's about 300 pages.
Oh.
I do recommend it.
Okay.
That's that. How about you,
It's
Sarah?
not too
Too.
late for me to add it to our bingo board.
I actually have 2 recommendations for that. Sarah, too. What are you currently reading?
Well, first of all, please excuse my voice. I'm very sexy. I just finished reading today Death by Laura, whatever her name is. We're talking about it today.
Thalassa something.
Something like that.
Laura
I don't know.
Thalassa.
And so I finished that and I started Crescent City 2. I've read the prologue. That's as far as I got. So we'll see.
It is.
It's a wild ride.
I'm ready. I have like 12 days. to
Oh,
read.
is it a library loan? Gotta love those library loans. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oof.
Yep. Victor, what are you reading?
I just want to thank our other sponsor this evening, Marlboro, for providing you with 6 packs of cigarettes to get your voice sounding so sweet at night.
For legal reasons,
Thank
we
you.
are not sponsored by
Call me
anyone.
Barb.
We're sponsored. Okay, so hi Harvey. So I'm reading Promises and Pomegranates by Sav R. Miller, which was a recommendation from Aaron, and I hate it.
What is it?
It's like, first off, she tricked me. It's a mafia book, and I was told. I know. I was told. Oh, it's a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get into it, and it's first page. It's like, I'm in the mafia. I'm like, cool.
This is line 1.
And like the main character, the male main character, I absolutely hate. He's terrible. And the female main character, probably a lot like Persephone, fluctuates between the, oh, I can't believe I was kidnapped. Bitch, you went along willingly. I don't want to fucking hear it. So I'm very torn with her like whole victim complex, and I'm not 100% enjoying it, but it's reading.
Important question.
They're words.
Are you
It's
going,
words on a
Are you going to
page.
DNF it?
No.
Are you going to DNF it? No. Okay.
No.
Proud of you.
I'm gonna finish it, but I'm gonna hate the entire time I'm reading it.
Valid.
You're just gonna hate read
That's
it?
fair.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna suffer, but I'm gonna like it. Because it's
Perfect.
reading. Anyway, Sarah 1, what are you reading
Whatever
today?
floats your boat.
Well, I finished Famine yesterday, and so that one is the other book in the series that we're talking about today by Laura Thalassa. But I have been devouring the series by Sara Blue, the Heat Haven Omegaverse series. So I'm currently in the 4th book, the final. I'm assuming it's the final, but it's the 4th book in the series called Too Tempting. So it's Omegaverse, it's poly. There's just a lot of sex happening.
Perfect. Just
Yeah,
what we
there's
like.
lots of nodding, lots of slick, and just so much happening. So good times.
Disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Kitty, what are you reading?
Go, Victor, go.
No,
What do you need to tell us?
whoever came up with the word slick needs to go to jail. That's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I know, it's awful.
They
It is
do.
really awful.
They do.
They did come up with a new kink that I've never heard of, and it is foul and disgusting, but also hilarious. They called it cream pie cleanup.
Cream pie
No.
cleanup?
You know,
Oh.
there are
Yep.
some things I could have lived my whole life without knowing. And I feel
And
like cream pie cleanup was
When I
one of
read
them.
that, I bust out laughing so hard, but I was also gagging because I was like, that is disgusting, but also like the character was saying it humorously, but I was like, because the character was like, I never thought myself being into that, but here we are, like, but also hilarious. So yeah. So that's all in your minds now. So I was
Thank you.
really waiting to share that
Thank
on
you.
the pod
Thank you
tonight.
for that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep.
I literally do not think I have read since last week, so I'm still climbing up that mountain. Alpha
Okay.
God.
You're still climbing that mountain, then. You know, sometimes you have to take
I'm
a
still
break.
climbing the mountain. You know, life, meds, everything is just weird right now. So there we go.
I feel
It's
that.
lovely. Love it so much. Yeah,
But you're still here with us, and that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
I am. Very excited for our episode tonight, and you may have, your little ears may have noticed a different voice than is normally on tonight. The lovely Robyn, also known as @a_tired_witch. So, Robyn, what are you currently reading? Tell us all about it, please.
So in true me fashion, I have like so many books going at once. I just finished Conjuring Dirt, which was for the Witchcraft book club. And I have mixed feelings on that, so that's a whole thing. I also just finished a book about childhood development called The Whole Brain Child, because I'm trying to be a conscious mother who hopefully doesn't give my kid an irreparable amount of childhood trauma. We'll see. I would like them to get a normal amount of therapy. Like, just the normal amount.
Got it.
Well, I think everybody needs therapy at some point in their life, and I think that if you say you don't, that you are goofing with yourself, because it's part of your body, and your body needs to be taken care of. So I'd like them to just get the good old standard amount of therapy. And then I am still reading Soul of the Witch, which is technically still this month's book club book, but I am so behind. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. That series actually has turned out to be okay. I
It's pretty
didn't think I
good.
was gonna like it because the first book, which was Her Soul to Take, I think.
Yes.
The female main character I wanted dead. I just really hated her so much.
I think she did too.
I just really despised her so much. I've never known somebody, and I get that her character, the whole like purpose of her character was that she just like, it's like she's just so conditioned to, I don't know, make bad choices. But like at some point here, it felt like the Mulder and Scully relationship on X-Files, where every episode there would be an alien and Mulder would still be like, I don't think it was aliens. Or I'm not sorry, Scully would be like, I don't think it was aliens, Mulder. I think it must have been something logical and scientific. And it was the same energy where it was like, here's all this proof that like this bad thing is happening, and she's like, well, I don't think. surely they're my friends. And I just, it was like, at some point, it was just like, just let her die. That's what she wants.
I love that it's like addressed in the second book how little preservation skills, like self-preservation
Like
skills, she actually
none.
has.
Especially when you have this massive contrast of the second book, Juniper, who is nothing but preservation skills. You're just like, she's literally so dumb. Like, it's crazy. Like, and I get that that's how she was supposed to be written, but like, girl.
Yeah, and I'm actually still reading the second book too, like just a lot slower. And Juniper is like the almost frustrating in the opposite way. We were like, okay, Juniper, like you can like let your walls down just like a little bit and
She
like
does
let
eventually
people
if you
in.
stick with her.
Yeah, and you can see it. You're like, okay, she's finally starting to like put a window in the wall, like. Let the people in just a little bit, Juniper. So no, like, yes. But yeah, that's one of those series that seems to be getting better as it goes on.
Much like the series we're talking about today.
What a segue there, Sara too. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are talking about a series that we read last August as a group.
Did
so
Marie
long
say
ago,
what book she was reading?
So long ago.
Okay, I'm just stupid. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, she went first. No, you're not.
You're not stupid, okay? You're not stupid. You just are processing things at a higher
fellow Starseed.
That allows you to accidentally forget things.
You just slipped onto a different timeline.
Grand Rising.
That's what I say all the time to Frank. It's either that or I'm just a girl. You can't expect me to know these things.
I just love Marie so much. I want to hear her talk again. Ignore me.
Thank you. Yeah. So this series of books that we read, it's called The Four Horsemen. And Sara too did find out, like halfway through the second book, that this is about biblical events and the apocalypse. Poor Sara.
Can I just say before we get too into this?
Yes.
Before we get too into this book, I just want to express my disappointment in both Sarah's. At the fact that neither of you finished the series, and yet I know Kitty didn't either, but you both have the same name, so
fair.
I'm disappointed.
I'm officially finished. Officially finished.
Oh, good job.
It was such a fucking ride, this book series, and y'all just went, "This isn't for me," which was. Out of all the books we fucking read, this was the series that you were like,
listen,
it was one of the first.
Listen.
Yeah, I know. I was so frustrated with 2 back-to-back books of
the same story.
Getting the same story.
But guess what? There's 4 back-to-back books of the same story.
Excuse you, okay? One of them, pregnancy isn't involved, actually.
Yes,
and
I
it's
just
very much
plot point that they don't want to have a baby.
Yes.
So it's like you didn't even read the book, and that makes me sick.
I know, and I just finished it yesterday, and I was like, how refreshing. This is great. Damn it, I hate the book. Or I like the book. I was like hating that I liked the book because I was like, this would be me in this situation. Like, damn it.
I have so much to say about these books. I've been waiting for this.
There were definitely a few reasons I didn't finish. One, we had just read the Vampire series, which was a much easier series to read. The writing was easier.
Horrific.
It was so bad.
It was also
but like so
horrific.
much fun to talk shit about. It was
that one.
It was I enjoyed that series. Oh, you did?
It was, yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I read Bite of Loyalty.
You didn't
and
finish
I said,
the Vampire series,
hate
Victor?
this.
Unbelievable.
I don't
like
know.
still out of all of the books that we have read for this book club, that is still my least favorite book. That bitch really said, you know what? My entire family just got slaughtered. I think I'm gonna be horny for my professor.
You wait. You hated it more than like the Mummy?
I couldn't see it.
The Mummy book?
Who's never been
Or
there?
multiple loved ones.
Who hasn't lost a loved
didn't,
one
you know,
and tried to fuck their teacher right after?
yeah,
I
or
get
like
it now.
masturbating in the
masturbating
window.
in front of an open
That was like
window.
the most
the janitor
relatable thing
could
I've
see
ever
you.
read.
Exactly. So relatable.
Again, it was relatable
Yeah.
stuff. Who
Yeah.
hasn't? Who hasn't
Exactly.
masturbated
I
next
think
to
I'm
an open
missing-
window facing a courtyard?
I think
full
I'm
of
missing
people?
this key pivotal human
Mhm.
experience, which
That's an
does
average
segue into the
Tuesday.
fact
Catch up.
that I am pestilence.
It's a
Oh,
part
favorite
of growing
person
up,
I-
really, if you think about it. That is true.
Which was, I think,
It
the
is.
problem
Yeah,
with the series was
definitely.
starting
You're a
off
horseman.
with fucking
That's
pestilence.
the first one.
Why was that book one?
Okay, because
It's in the
Angel,
Bible.
and this is something I'm gonna just humble you here for a second. That is because that is the first person in the Bible that comes.
I don't
out.
care.
Sarah's like, the
My-
Bible? What is this?
My very first note
Why
about
would
this
you
book
start
series
with
in the
first
channel
one?
last
It's
August
right in the
was,
Bible.
oh my god, wait, is this Left Behind fanfic? And I don't. Do you have trauma if you never read Left Behind? I think
I recall
don't know.
that.
It's quite the book series. Terrible book series. And yeah, this book series was no better. Mhm.
You know, as a teenager reading the Left Behind series, I kept waiting for romance
Do
to
you think
happen,
it improved
and
on
it
that?
never did. So I do feel like the series
Yeah. Yeah.
gave me that.
Okay, I
did
actually
not
never
come
read
I'm
Left
glad
Left
it came
Behind.
full
I don't even
circle
know
for
what it was.
you.
I thought it was a video game.
No. Oh
I did.
my god.
This entire time,
no.
Same.
I also thought it was a video game. At the end of the day, I think it really goes to show that Victor and I both obviously don't have any trauma, and we're
Yeah,
healed.
if you didn't grow up embedded in the American church,
Oh, okay.
you probably don't know what the Left Behind
Protestant
series is.
evangelical
No,
church.
so
I
you
was
don't
raised
have that.
Catholic.
Yeah, like the
So-
American contemporary,
Yeah.
like evangelical church. Yes.
No, we've just got the good old fashioned shame in
Yeah.
Catholicism.
Like,
That's
No,
all
we
you
got
need.
the shame
There was the
and
Left Behind.
but also let's
Yeah.
freak you out and get you ready for the coming
End of
Jesus.
the world.
And you better wear clean underwear because there's going to be a day where you go poof and your underwear is going to be on the ground because
Yeah.
everybody's going to
You
be
better wear clean underwear. If
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
not
perhaps.
maybe
Like, so there was
evangelicals
an
are onto
adult
something.
version of the books, right? It was like 14 book series long, like huge hunkin' books. And then there was a kids version that were like little books that was like 45 of them or something. And it like followed the kids in the whole
so
thing.
what's the
And
premise?
of course, they got left behind, so they were terrible.
Yeah.
It's about the rapture, yes.
So I'm gonna assume
And
it's
everybody
about
that's
the
left
rapture
behind.
then, yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
it's the rapture, but it follows the people that got left
Mhm.
behind that weren't Christian or Christian enough or like true Christians.
Like, don't you love
them
evangelicals
going
who
through,
believe
like,
that
Christian
Catholics aren't
fucking
Christians? Because if
mentality,
you're
man. It's so
Catholic,
wild
you
to
definitely
me.
got left behind in this series. Because you were not a Christian. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's fine.
I did
I said
too.
sorry to God.
So
a
I'm
lot
the-
as a
I'm
kid,
the middle
so
child.
I feel
have
like
a
God and I
brother and
are on
sister, and they were
equal
both
terms,
baptized,
actually.
and I wasn't.
It's like
So I guess that if the if the rapture happens, I'm definitely gonna be left behind. And I just want to say, for
left
please
behind.
do. Can you? That would be
It's not too
great.
late.
Um,
I'll baptize you.
I think that if I had to pick, I would be
I would
torn
love
between
to.
death and war. To be honest, like if I get left behind,
You know what's
yes, I'd have a
Oh.
hard time picking between war and death because I actually really liked war.
From the books. Admittedly, I was definitely a death girl, but I also really liked famine.
Oh.
You know what? I liked famine because I hate
love
rich people.
famine.
And so I really enjoyed famine going, hey, bring me all of
Yeah, we
like,
know you liked Marie. Relax. Calm down in the corner over there, little flower.
I liked that famine was like, bring me all of your gifts and like, you know, whatever. And then like the rich people are like, look what we got. And he's like, haha, fuck you, die. Like, yes. Like I would, as the FMC, I would have been like, yes, do it. instead of being like, no, don't kill them, and be like, no, kill the rich people really fast. Thank you.
Yeah.
Torture them just a
Listen,
little bit.
I would like to
Kitty's like, oh my god,
apologize for this series first and foremost, because this series was recommended to me by Temperance Alden of Wild Woman Witchcraft. She went, "Oh, I got this great new series you'll love." And when she recommended it to me, I had just had my eldest child, and I was like, I was in the trenches of postpartum anxiety. Your girl thought that a cougar was going to eat her newborn. It was a lot. And so I started reading this book about the end of the world, and that just really wasn't a great combination for the anxiety and the constant fear of my child dying. Also, my eyes are watering. Sorry, gang. I'm not crying over this book. It is the light. Anyway, so she sent this to me. I got probably like 20 pages into this book. It was okay, so in the first book, spoilers ahead. I know you're gonna want to pick it up after this one. It's the part in the book when he takes her to that first house and lets her have a bath.
Yep.
That I was like, I simply cannot do this book. I was like, I don't know what drugs that Temperance is smoking that she thought that I of all people would enjoy this, but I simply cannot do this.
It is so
this
popular
the
right now.
The masses love this book.
Yeah.
And I'm
the
sorry,
people love it.
The masses do love this
Or
book.
the series.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
I blame Book Talk for that. Because my fucking mother brought it home the other day. I walked into her house yesterday. It sat on the fucking table. I was like, cool. Cute day here, Mom. I was like, what's this about? And she goes, oh, I saw it at Walmart. First of all, Walmart, raise your bar. And she goes, I saw it at Walmart.
You are in for a shock.
This looks interesting. And I was like, girly pop. I am literally going on a podcast tomorrow about this book. When I tell you it is horrible. And she goes, is it really that bad? Should I not read it? And I was like, you should read it. You paid for it.
Yeah.
But like when you don't feel compelled to continue on in the series, I told you so. Like,
I still want a live reaction video of your mom
I just don't understand how people.
Please.
Yeah, but she's the one who also read that book about the dog human people and was like, that was a good book. You should read that. And I was like,
nope.
We will not be reading the dog.
I just don't
book.
understand
that,
how someone
sounds
can,
insane right
in
now.
the first book, start off by reading about this female main character getting drawn and quartered, and then they're like, "Oh God, this is so romantic." Excuse?
Okay, and can we,
can
we talk about the how she just kills the horse? This is a major spoiler. So
Trixie
sorry.
Skills.
Trixie Skills, which was my nickname for a hot minute after we like to give. Well, we like to assign everybody nicknames after we read books, and mine was Trixie Skills, which was the name of the horse.
I have recently bestowed this privilege to others because I used to be.
So I was a horse for a hot minute in the Discord server, which is fine. I was fine with it. I've had some great names. But yeah, like she kills the horse. I mean, it does come back to life, but still, that was like in chapter 1. It was this. Yeah, I was not having it right from the beginning.
Yeah,
I was like, no.
I want to point
I
out
tell you that Pestilence is hands down the worst out of the 4 books. And not because of things like that, although yes, very valid, like animal cruelty is like a massive trigger for people, like very valid. But it was the worst one because you have got these apocalypse gods. That's what they are, right? They are here to make humankind just so sad and miserable, and they all get taken down because they've been given cocks. Which, let's unpack that one for a second. Why does an apocalypse god, whose entire thing is
we find that out in death,
need a penis?
Why?
Like, does he shit? Like, what?
He doesn't.
Does he have an asshole? I had lots of questions.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
The world building in this one was also
Yeah.
just because, like the first. Because
Yeah,
It
the
was
world
very
building was
racist.
all of
good.
technology, well, yes, and
It was
then
very
all of
racist.
technology like disappeared, but the TV still worked. But there's no electricity.
Something still worked.
How? How did it work? How?
Sarah.
It's her cat.
Is fucking
It happens all the
haunted.
time.
Did
This
you
is like
see that?
this is like the 15th
We're
time
used to it.
tonight, Robyn.
Hey,
You
Sarah,
haven't noticed her
what the
getting
fuck
up?
is that? No, I hadn't.
She's been up
That
at
was the first time I
least
saw
7
it.
times.
Oh my god, demonic layer. That's so crazy. I did not notice that. So, hello, Google.
So I thought it was.
Mhm.
I thought it was a really bold, creative choice. The author chose to put war in the Middle East.
It was so
Yeah.
racist. That was such a microaggression. And then on top of that,
Yeah.
to
was awful.
put
That
it
was
in a place
terrible.
that is so rich with culture. Just that entire region of the world is so rich with culture.
And all they eat is
There's
like hummus.
so much. And
Hummus.
then they were like, well,
Mhm.
they wear their headscarves and they
It
eat
was
their
so
hummus.
bad. It was
And you're just
so
like,
bad.
who let you write that? You wrote that down. You sent that out and you felt good about that? Like, hello?
And I think it's the only
Oh
book
my
that takes
God.
place outside of the U.S.
I think there were
Well,
No,
famine takes place
famine
in
takes place
Brazil.
in
there were
Brazil.
others,
Brazil.
too.
Famine is in Brazil.
And pestilence is in Canada. And death
In the US,
is in
yeah.
the South. Yeah.
But in famine,
Why do I remember that
Yeah.
specifically
Well, of course it
almost
is.
an entire year later? I do not know.
The same kind of thing happens with famine too, with the food, because she only mentions like one kind of fruit, like that's from that region, and the only other
Yeah.
thing that she eats that you hear about is cashews.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cashews
like,
and papayas.
is that what the fruit was?
Yeah.
I didn't
I
look
also-
up the translation, but I was like, that yes, it's famine, so it's killing everything. But I'm like, but that region is so rich in culture and food and fruit and produce.
And even how she
Oh.
like describes the female main characters like living quarters pre
Well,
her going to
freaking
famine.
chick from Famine is a prostitute. Also, she makes sure to include the drug lords.
Right, no, I know. This is what I'm saying. Like her entire
Yeah.
story.
Like, oh, the
is
guy
like,
that
well,
runs.
they're from the South America, so we better get the drug lords.
But the drug
and the
lords were growing
prostitutes in.
marijuana, which I thought was a little bit inaccurate because don't they mostly focus on cocaine down there? Like, I know there is marijuana,
I
but it's like
don't know.
it's both.
But I just thought it
she's
was like
oh,
it's all these like microaggressions towards
Yeah.
brown people is
Yeah.
like the entire
And-
series.
yeah.
Oh,
I was
I-
like, is marijuana that big of an export right now in the apocalypse?
Well, I mean, if you think about it though, like you have to remember that famine takes place like 20 years after
24,
pestilence.
yeah.
So you don't have because cocaine isn't just like the cocoa leaf; it's like a whole process.
right.
So maybe
True.
they wouldn't
Maybe it is just
have that
marijuana.
in marijuana.
But also,
you
is
could
that
just
really-
grow and smoke.
Is that really still like such a commodity in the apocalypse?
Well, I think it probably is going to be when she also only knows 2 fruits. She was like, let's just think of some racist microaggressions.
She does
I
a
guess I
single
just wrote
Google.
that in the-
What do Brazilians like? Brazilians, they like prostitutes and drugs. That's true. Like that, like, I know that's not her thought process. Well, I don't know that. That could be her thought process. But that was
I really
very
hope not.
much how the entire
Yeah.
series read.
I'm
Yeah.
a little upset tantrum because of how she was trying to describe the trees in Israel. And like, it took me one Google search about pine trees in Jerusalem to be like, you have no idea what you're talking about, lady. And just like the whole thing, it like no research was done about the Middle East for sure. 0. It was very annoying. Yeah.
The entire thing was very annoying to me in general because like even just like the way in Famine how Brazil is described as a country is like she watched an episode. Okay, so in 90 Day Fiancé, yeah, we're going there. In 90 Day Fiancé, there is a couple where Paul and Karini, okay? And Paul is not all there upstairs. Like, that's all I'm going to say about it. And he runs into the Brazilian jungle at one point. And, like, it's a whole thing. My point is it was like she had seen that season of 90 Day Fiancé and was like, I now have a well-versed knowledge of Brazil. And I'm going to base an entire novel on it. I get Brazil now. And that's how it read because of how she described it, that I even told my husband multiple times. I was like, read this. Tell me that this sounds like Brazil to you, because this is crazy. Like, even little things. Like, I remember specifically there was a scene towards the end of the book where they're going somewhere. And he talks about that he's, like, killing, or she talks about him killing cornfields. And that there's just, it was, like miles and miles of cornfields or something like that. And I remember thinking, what? Like, where in this country? Now, yes, I'm sure that they grow corn. Like, the corn is found all over the world. But where in this country is there miles and miles and miles and miles of cornfields? Like, and maybe that's my ignorance.
Apparently, right outside of Sao Paulo.
Especially when there's no technology.
So insane. I was like, what?
I'm sorry. Cars have not been running for 5, 6, 7 years now that you're at Famine. So, like, there are not fields of corn.
Fields,
like, you have to plant corn by hand.
It's like
you have to plant it by hand.
Right.
It's like they don't even know how agriculture works.
It was just
weird.
It was one of those things where I remember reading it, and maybe, I mean, it's been a while, so maybe I'm misremembering totally the descriptor, but it did, leave the impression that this was like tens of acres of cornfields. That, like when you do like the aerial maps of like Indiana, where you have like these big chunks of green. That's how it was like described. And
it is. And you're not misremembering. That is how it is described, because I just finished it up the other day.
I want you to know that sitting in my house right here in Indiana, I have a cornfield in front of me, and I have a cornfield behind me.
Are you sure you're not in Sao Paulo, Brazil?
Shit.
Yeah, are you, Ivy?
Oh, sorry, Grace. I just disturbed the fuck out of my cat.
Poor Grace.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so the author definitely could have done even a little bit of research.
The author could have done literally anything. The author could have gone to google.com and typed in Brazilian agriculture and got the Wikipedia page, and it would have been better researched than this entire book.
Well, just like with the trees, the pine trees, like in the scene in War, the female main character was going out and getting firewood, which, like, if that whole region of the world has been on TV a lot recently, and it is kind of a desert, as everybody knows. And, like, in the book, it describes the female character, like, sawing through a very thick tree. And it's like, it took me 3 seconds on Google to figure out that no, there are no trees like you are describing in this area of the world.
Well, I think probably the trees showed up because of the sheer amount of hummus that was consumed by the entire war party.
You're right. Yeah.
They were powered by hummus and vegetables only.
Garbanzo beans.
And the trees were like, we better give you something really large.
Something.
Would you like a sequoia?
Yeah.
Can I give you a sequoia in these trying times?
In these trying times.
Can I offer you
a redwood?
In these trying times?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brazilian.
And then just like
it was very frustrating.
Brazilian agriculture is sugarcane, coffee, soybeans, beef, and crop-based ethanol. Googly goog.
Oh, that would be corn.
Okay.
Now.
That would be corn.
Crop-based
ethanol.
But that wouldn't be.
But that's last on the list.
No.
Last on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you wouldn't
But
have
again,
acres and acres and acres of it without machinery.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, is
You
it
can have horses
possible
and-
if like
and
300 people tried to
carts.
seed a field? Sure, but like, it's the
Yeah.
apocalypse.
And you wouldn't
Everyone's
need ethanol in the
dead.
apocalypse.
No, you wouldn't,
Yeah.
and you're not going to eat those soybeans. So,
You could make soy candles.
First of all, soybeans are delicious.
first
so
of
simmer
all,
down.
They
that's
are
not the kind you
delicious.
want to eat, though.
True. Okay. Fair enough, I suppose.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Wait,
But
why?
you could.
You could.
You
Yeah.
could. You
And
might
during a famine.
not like it, but you could.
Hey.
Yeah.
Imagine how farty you would be. You're like, my
You gotta heat your house
entire
somehow.
diet is soybeans.
What a time. What a time.
My entire diet is soybeans. So I just, what do you want me to
What?
do? I don't know. My biggest takeaway from the Horsemen series and the public's response to the Horsemen series is that I think that there might be a chance that most people who read our genre of books are not very smart. And I say that super respectfully because I'm not very smart. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl and I can't read. So I'm not very smart either, okay? I'm not throwing stones because I do live in a glass house. But I do think that there is, like, we can read porn and also be critical thinkers.
Yeah.
I think both things can
Yeah,
happen.
they can. They can.
No.
Can they?
Because, like,
Can
here's the
they?
thing. This series, like, this specific series was not like Bite of Loyalty where it was like, fucking, or like Rook's Grave where it was like the first line, she's like wiping cum off her face. Like, this was not that book series. This series was a slow burn.
Oh, yeah.
You had to get to 65-70% before any remote semblance of fucking was happening.
That's true.
Especially in death.
How
Like,
long did it take
they
for
even
death?
have
They
sex
did.
in
They had a
death?
lot of sex, but it took like 70%.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I forgot how
And so-
much of a slow burn it was.
There are massive slow burns, and then so like if you've gotten that far in the book and you're like, this is good.
What is wrong with you?
I'm
Respectfully.
I'm really respectfully. Are you good? I think you might want to visit a therapist about your
The
religious
masses
trauma,
love
and
it.
Oh
find
yeah,
out
I know
what
that.
you have.
They love it.
Yeah.
Well,
in my
not just the
heart.
religious trauma, but if your book boyfriend is one of the horsemen
plague.
of the apocalypse, I think you need to maybe analyze
Actually,
your
if your book boyfriend is actually pestilence, like respectfully, no, Victor, you don't count in this. If your book boyfriend is respectfully pestilence after what he did to that sweet old couple,
Yes.
Oh, prison.
Yeah.
Prison.
Yes.
Like you're still
Guillotine.
horny after that.
Do you,
solitary confinement.
Yes.
do you want me to apologize?
No,
But
not
if-
you. I'm saying
but
you
if-
don't count in this. You're my book boyfriend,
if, like,
it's separate.
If those men are better than your partners in real life,
You have to reevaluate your life.
yeah.
Please.
like
If you're
OMG.
getting something from the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse that you are not getting in real life, I'm really worried about you. I'm
Circling back to our therapy
sending you
discussion,
So much love.
Yes.
maybe we'll get sponsored by BetterHelp
Oh.
next week.
Would love that for us.
That'd be fantastic.
Better help and visit Cincy.
And Marlboro.
It's so crazy and wild to me. Like, this book series, it was a train wreck for me. I could not put it down. I couldn't put it down because it kept being one of those scenarios where I was like, surely she wouldn't. And she did every time.
See, and I was
Every
like,
single time.
It's an interesting character study into what would happen.
Because it's
during
the same
apocalypse.
book 4 times. It's the same book.
Basically.
That is
not
very true.
In one book, they eat hummus. In
Oh.
another one,
right.
they eat bananas. And in another one, she's from
It was like
Georgia
Control F, hummus,
and
bananas.
steals a baby. Like,
A
she
baby.
just
Baby.
stole, like, I don't feel like we've touched
No,
on
we
that.
haven't.
I know we haven't. And I don't feel like anybody unpacked that enough.
Why?
She stole a baby.
Yeah.
She walked into a house. Now,
Everyone was
granted,
dead.
Oh.
their
Okay.
parents were
Okay.
probably deceased. But she made absolutely. She just decided that was a baby for her, and was like, "This is
Like,
my
did she
child
go
now."
looking for the baby, or did she
Grabbed it
just
and left.
happen upon it?
Put it on her little bike.
Happened upon it.
So this is a big spoiler for people that are gonna read it. So because I'm gonna tell Kitty what happens. She is immortal.
Okay.
Like death. She cannot be killed. And death.
Wait, we gotta talk about her name.
He shows up to towns and he wipes.
We gotta talk about her name.
Lazarus.
I don't remember.
Was
I
her
remember
name
Lazarus? That's what it was.
Lazarus,
like
So-
R-I-S-S?
like the
Oh,
biblical,
US.
the
Lazarus,
guy that
like the biblical
was
name.
raised from the dead.
So he does this thing where he like shows up to a town. He goes snap, snap, snap.
Yeah.
Whole town is flattened and dead in that second, right? She can't die, and then she's in a town. He does his little jolly dance. The whole town dies, and she hears a baby crying. So she thinks that the baby is immortal like her, and maybe the baby was, maybe the baby wasn't. It wasn't, but she doesn't know this at the time. She goes to the house. She's like, "This baby's like me," and so she just takes the baby.
Okay.
Mind you, she's being actively chased by the god of death.
Good idea.
And she's like, I should have this baby with me.
Nothing will go wrong.
That's a good idea, and in no way is that a bad idea.
Because an extra
should take
mouth to
this
feed
baby.
is a good idea in apocalypse.
Well, I mean, surely, because at this point in the book, too, they also talk about how they have hospitals, and there is
still have
infrastructure of some kind despite the world crumbling around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, surely there's some sort of, like, displaced children system or some sort of
baby
community
drop-off
that you
box?
could say, hey, death is chasing me. I shouldn't have
What
this
in the world?
child that isn't mine to begin with. It was when I tell you that made me so mad I wanted her dead on the spot.
She should be besties with Raylan from Her Soul to Take. Like,
It was
they
just
could just
like-
make bad decisions together.
It was just like so illogical. She did not think that through. And like, I've got a baby, okay? They're pretty fucking heavy, and hauling them around on like a basic little bike is, first of all, very dangerous. That was not very smart of her. But two, like, that's gonna slow you down, and you have fucking death chasing you.
Does he really know
Idiot.
a dance?
Idiot.
No, he doesn't really do a
Oh,
dance.
that's no
but
fun.
I like to think that he did.
I was thinking of the guy from Saltburn at the end when he's doing like his like dance.
Yeah. There's murder on the dance floor.
Oh, and I'm just reading through these. I forgot that all the female main characters in this series are 22 years old.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice and ripe.
Because nothing
Is that
says
biblical?
a woman who can tame an immortal god
Yeah.
like a
With
22-year-old virgin.
not
It is
fully
probably biblical.
developed.
Not all of them are
frontal lobe.
virgins.
That's true. That's true. Not all of them were virgins.
Yeah. What's her name was quite
And
the
I-
opposite
and I
of a
got-
virgin.
Yeah, and I got
I wish we
paid.
had more smut books that had like an age-appropriate woman. Like, not that a 22-year-old isn't a woman and a
Mhm.
grown adult, because she totally is. But, like, why do they always have to be 18, 22? Like, why couldn't we have, like, a 27-year-old?
30?
Mhm.
Yeah,
31-year-old?
something.
A
Oh my God.
45-year-old? Why not?
I would like
Oh, we read a Santa Claus one like that.
and I would like to point out Thought Grandma, which you did suggest a while ago, Robyn.
I'm sorry,
You know
was
what I
that?
said.
What did I? No, I didn't. I actually did not hear what you
You
said.
are the one who suggested Thought Grandma.
Well, I mean,
I just want to say the first page of that book does include finger licking good KFC chicken.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus
Thought.
Christ.
T-H-O-T.
I don't know which one that is.
Thought Grandma is written by a gentleman. It is a gentleman who puts out a lot of books. Like a lot of books. I think he's written like 54 smut books. They are not
No.
edited at all. And they are...
Is it Chuck Tingle?
Oh, I don't remember crazy.
Is this man related to J.K. Deere?
Oh, we did a read aloud for J.K. Deere. That was. You may remember that if you're listening. It was something.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
J.K. Deere is a second generation smut writer.
Yeah.
They're multi-generational. This can be
Yes, Robyn.
hereditary. Forget hereditary witchcraft. Instead,
Isn't
I
that
think
just
of
so
hereditary
exciting?
porn writing.
Yeah. Yep.
I come from a long line of porn writers.
Oh, it comes in the family.
Oh no, don't put it that way.
Sarah,
That is illegal
No.
in some places.
don't you
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear it. Honestly,
right
like,
along
I
to.
personally feel like we're all gonna just move past that. That was horrific.
Oh my god.
Speaking of
So,
jail,
yeah.
Who
This
has to go?
book series, we read it last August. Honestly, we still talk about it semi-regularly in the chat.
But not
Yeah.
my name.
Ivy's
has
nickname has been
Victor.
Victor
It's not
since
even a
last
nickname
August.
anymore. It's an identity. It's a persona.
Yeah. You've gotten mail.
It
My
is.
favorite part actually about
Yeah.
you being called Victor is that when we get new people in the Discord, they think
Yeah.
that is your actual name, and they'll be like, "Hey Vic,
Vic.
hey Victor,"
I'm
and
okay
I'm just
with
like,
it.
"Yes."
I know I've said this
Correct
a couple times
choice.
on the pod now, but because you're on, I get a mail addressed to Victor now. For example, Marie sent me a swap,
That makes
and
me
it was
so
addressed to
happy.
Victor. CC sent me mail addressed to Victor. I was like, yeah, this is just who I am now.
That's just amazing.
I love that. I mean, I hope that you like it because I really like it.
I
'cause
do, I
after
love
all,
it.
You are my Victor. So,
I promise I won't draw and quarter you.
thank you.
Yeah, also-
I would also appreciate it if you didn't give me the plague.
Yeah.
well,
Thank you.
too.
Why didn't the other horsemen get names?
You know, it's
Well, they're not
probably
cool
best
enough.
that we don't ask
True.
too many deep questions.
I think it was a personal choice.
Yeah.
It was a personal choice. Famine did not care. It was too
Yeah, Sara
human
really,
for him.
the female
Yeah,
main
but-
character of Pestilence's book, her name was also Sara. She really changed him, you know. Melted his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can
she
fix
really.
it. Listen, I think that that's actually my
Oh, really?
biggest
I
complaint with
can't.
this series. Listen, I can excuse the poor writing. I can excuse the lack of research. But what I cannot excuse is the I can fix him mentality when he is literally designed to end us all. Like, that's his only purpose. He has not lived a life. He is literally designed in this book by God to come here and do his one purpose, and you've sat there and gone,
I know better.
look at those golden curls though, I can fix him.
It's gonna be so good.
You know that meme that's like, you can excuse racism? That's kind of what you just did there.
That's literally, that was what I drew from. Thank you for noticing.
Oh.
Perfect. I love it. That was 11 out of 10 meme usage.
Thank you. It was a real community reference, if you will. But yeah, it bothered me on like a really deep level, like how badly every single one of these women, even in death where she was like, I'm gonna kill him, she still saw something in him. That despite the fact at that point he had killed like 30 million people, she was like,
He's redeemable.
what?
Yeah.
He's
Look at those
redeemable.
eyes.
Yeah.
He
Look at
can be
that dog.
saved.
Eyes.
But he's hung.
What am I supposed to do? He's got a huge dick, and he animated these fucking skeletons for
What?
me.
Really? What
At
more
least
could I go
Famine
ask?
can grow you flowers.
It honestly, what was the one that Famine did where he like did the vines
Mhm.
and he
Yeah.
like pinned her up?
Yep.
What else are
Yeah.
you looking for in a partner?
Basic
Victor.
respect,
Me personally,
Victor.
absolutely
decency.
Really
I
setting
know,
the bar
I'm
high
asking for
here.
a lot.
I don't.
I'll settle with
Yeah.
the vines.
You know, at least
Yeah, we
war
know Marie.
took
We know
her-
Marie was in love with famine. That's a fact.
Yeah, he was
It's
pretty
sick
beautiful.
And twisted.
But at least
It was
war took
hilarious
her-
because
twisted.
this is the first book that I read with the
Oh.
book club.
Oh,
It's got a special
Yeah.
place in your heart.
It's amazing.
Oh, I love that. That makes me so happy to hear. I
Yeah,
ruined everyone's life with this series.
you kind of did
actually.
ruin mine. Thank
Like, if we're
you.
being honest.
It was right around this time that I got into
You're welcome.
Dramini.
And you know what, Kitty?
Oh, you should be.
I was thinking about
It's
you
really
the
all
time.
your fault
So
that
accurate.
Oh, you
I.
pushed her into
This was
Dramini
right
with
around
this
that time I
series.
started reading Dramini, so it's all your fault, Robyn. And
She's
Yeah.
never stopped.
yeah.
For the record, Hermione was not on me. I'm a
I'm
normal,
just
well-adjusted
saying
adult who
that you
reads little
pushed
things
me
like
into
porn,
it.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I couldn't handle this series of books, so I had to find something different. You know?
You were like, I simply cannot do.
Dear
another
God,
book
the
with another apocalyptic horseman.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to read about
Yep.
Hermione and Draco
Yep.
Boinkin
And their apocalypse.
It's
Yes.
great though.
in their own, and yeah, and as
Uh-huh.
many might say,
Uh-huh.
their own
Uh-huh.
apocalypse.
Thank you. Thank
Kitty,
you.
I'm in your corner. Don't worry.
I am not
That's
a Harry
fine.
Potter person. I never have been. Like, when obviously this is way before the J.K. Rowling stuff came out, but like growing up, I read them and I watched the movies and stuff. But I've never been like a huge Harry Potter person. And even when I was younger and I was reading Wattpad fanfics, it was never Harry Potter. So like, I love for you guys that you love that,
That's
but
totally
it's never been
fair.
something that's for me. Why
Do you
would I
want
read
another
that when I could
cursed
read Lord
Victor
of the
knowledge?
Rings porn? Like, get a grip.
Oh my god.
Aragon's right there.
Yes, Aragon's much better. Would
Yes.
you like some
Yes.
cursed Victor lore about Wattpad?
Yeah, always.
Okay, when I was in high school, this is like sophomore year high school, there was a girl in my grade, and her name was Lauren, because she's a weirdo, so I don't mind giving her real name. She wrote Wattpad fanfiction
What?
about me. It's out there
What?
somewhere.
Lauren.
Yeah. She
I'm
only
gonna
got like
need
2
you to find
chapters
it
in.
Yeah, can we find
immediately.
this?
Oh my
I want to
God.
read it.
I'm
I
gonna
need
I'm
to
gonna
know
try my best.
every detail of Lauren's mind. I need to get in there.
You mentioning it actually
Oh
had
My
drug it up
God.
from the dredges of my mind. Yeah, there's Wattpad
Wow.
Sorry, I
fanfiction
didn't mean to turn you
Wow.
about
on.
me out there. Yeah. And it's about being in like some
I just
really
had like normal weird crushes on me, where like boys would do stuff like not leave me alone. On
Nobody wrote
Hello
fanfic
Instant
about you?
Messenger. It's like the
Yeah.
normal.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Very
is he gonna
normal.
show up to my house and kill me stuff?
Yeah.
Like, just normal
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Normal.
before
Is that not the universal
question.
teenage experience?
Good question.
Was for
Totally.
me.
Oh, we
So
have.
there you go.
Yeah.
Before we have a quick little game for you, Robyn.
Oh God. Okay.
We have what we call
On the spot.
Fuck, Marry, Kill Ultimate.
Okay.
So it's Fuck, Marry, Kill Elevator, but it's fuck, which is a one night stand. Marry, which is like typical marry, but you also have like unlimited sex, yada yada. Friend zone.
Best friends.
So no sex, no physical contact, friends forever.
We're just pals.
And then the fourth option is elevator. It's stuck in an elevator for 3 hours, no physical contact, then you never see them ever again.
Okay.
So,
And
pestilence.
out of the Four Horsemen?
Yep, Four Horsemen.
Okay, easy. I would marry Death. Listen, I know he killed a bunch of people, but I can fix him. So I would marry Death. I would elevator pestilence. Sorry, Victor. I could not do the whole self-deprecating. I'm not really a god anymore. I'm just a guy. I just could not do that. That's too much. Mary. No, I already said Mary. Fuck. Is gonna be famine. It's gonna be famine, which then ultimately listen. The vines are gonna do it for me. Okay, Marie was not wrong.
So
for
war
that,
is gonna be your
okay?
BFF.
And friend zone
War
then
is
leaves
gonna be your
who?
Four.
Fucking
War.
BFF.
Best friends
War,
forever.
Yeah.
What a time.
That could come in handy.
What a time.
Any stalkers?
Yeah.
Just send war after them.
And, like, also, I feel like, listen, we all know that I'm into wet cigarette guys. I want them to look like they've got some sort of illness. I just do. And war is, like, the opposite of that in every way.
True.
Do you guys remember, like, Villavalo or Brian, what's his name, from Placebo? No?
A little bit.
Oh, you guys had normal
No.
childhoods. That's so cool. Interesting to me that I'm the only one here of culture. I will send it
Thank
to the Discord after this, because that, when you understand that those were my teenage crushes from that period, it's going to explain so much about my life.
So excited.
You're going to be inside my brain and just be
I'm
like,
so
yeah,
excited
all right,
to
I
see
get it
this.
now, Robyn. Have any of you seen Train Spotting?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Ewan McGregor's character, who was on Smack the whole time? Exactly. That's my exact, that is my exact type.
Okay.
My husband looks like he's definitely served time in federal prison, and I'm like, great. I love that.
Oh, my word. Robyn. So, we're
Oh
so
my God.
glad to have you on the podcast
Sorry.
again.
Sorry,
Thank
Dad.
you for being here. And
I'm glad
we
to be
just-
here. I
we're
will be
probably
here
gonna have
every
to talk
time you
about
guys
the
want me to be
vampire
here, 'cause
series
this
at
is
some
so
point.
fun.
So we have to. It's oh my god.
We have
Okay,
to
you
read
talk
need
it.
to
about
read
Vitamin
it.
Loyalty
It's
series.
it's
Yeah, I never read it.
it's so much. It's so bad. But
So bad. Like, it is.
Like,
Listen, the Bite of Loyalty series is one of those books where this series, right? You have these moments with the author, and you're like, in your head, there's no way she's gonna do that, right? Bite of
No.
Loyalty is like that, except for you do not see it coming
nope.
at all. It wasn't
Here
even
you
on
go.
your radar. And she was just like, surprise, shorty. Here's something
It
terrible.
was-
I hope you
yeah.
enjoy. And she like sets up subplots for additional series in this book or in the series, but like introduces us to characters because she wants to write other series about them. But then they are never.
But don't
mentioned
worry,
again.
they're BFFs.
Ever. She's
They're
just like,
BFFs.
oh, she's a
Fine.
demon princess.
Yeah.
She's your new best friend. You met her for 1 hour, and now you guys are pals, and then
No.
she's never mentioned again.
How weird.
Nice.
But
So, you
she
know,
has her own.
We didn't
trilogy.
read that, but
So-
Okay.
maybe we need to. I don't know.
Absolutely not. It was suggested that we should read it, and I was like, listen up, guys. I am walking a very fine line of mental health right now, and this is not something I think I can tolerate. If you guys want to read it, it's on your free time, go for it. But I personally,
Oh my god.
it will be my last try.
Oh, okay.
I do have a
well,
goal of
I think
100
there was
books this year,
4
so
or 5 in the
let's
Bite of
see.
Loyalty series. So
I
there you go. Yeah, and like they were quick reads.
think
They
it was
were
4, yeah.
really
3 or
stupid,
4.
quick. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
read them in a day. Each one I
Okay.
read in a day.
they were so ridiculous.
They just weren't good. They just were not good.
That's
and
not
the
a
way the author
requirement.
writes, too, the way the author writes too, you never know if somebody's to be trusted or not, because she like writes in a way that feels really obvious, and then it's not. Like it's in no way obvious, and you're like, I actually did not see that coming, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
Okay.
yeah.
Just
So
read it.
we'll
You'll
have you back
understand.
for that sometime to be determined.
You'll hear when I do.
And as always, thank you for being here,
I'm down.
mother of the podcast. We love having you,
Thanks for having me.
and
I love doing these chats with you
until
guys.
next time. Until next time. Thank you,
Yes.
and
Until next
good
time.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Feral Friday podcast. Join us every Friday for unhinged shenanigans, books, games, and more. You can find us on Instagram at Feral Friday Pod. Did you know we have a website? Visit us at www.feralfridaypod.com. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like us to cover a particular book or series, please send us an email at bferal@feralfridaypod.com. Happy reading!
Feral Friday.